Hi guys! For today's video, we will discuss about the acellular infectious agent. So what is acellular infectious agent? Infectious, acellular infectious agent. By definition, an organism must be composed of one or more cells. So these acellular infectious agents are not microorganisms. So this means that a cellular infectious agent, from the word itself, acellular, means no cells or lacking or the absence of cells. A cellular infectious agent are viruses, viroids, and prions. These cellular infectious agents are tiny but powerful, can take down both plant life and entire animals. Viruses. Viruses is an acellular infectious particles consisting of nucleic acid core surrounded by a coat of protein. It is often called obligate intracellular parasites. Viruses are not considered as living because they are not capable of living and reproducing by themselves, and because they show some characteristic of life only when inside the living cells. How do viruses cause disease? Viruses are typically host-specific, which means that they usually attack only one kind of cell. The host is a specific kind of cell that provides what the virus needs to function. Viruses do not divide like true cells. They are replicated. When the virus particles are released, they can infect adjacent cells and the infection spreads. The number of viruses released ranges from 10 to thousands. Viruses that causes polio affect the nerve cells. Some viruses remain in cells and are only occasionally triggered to reproduce, causing symptoms of disease. Herpes viruses, which causes cold spores. Genital herpeses and shingles reside in nerve cells and occasionally become active. The viral nucleic acid takes control of the loss of the host cell because the virus has no functional organelles of its own. It can become metabolically active only while it is within a host cells or inside the living cells. The genetic materials causes the living cells to make copies of the virus. Some viruses serious disease, other causes mild symptoms. It is also highly likely that there are viruses that require cells for reproduction, but unrecognized because they do not cause the death of cells or causes disease symptoms. Second are the viroids, a very small infectious particles composed solely of a small single strand of RNA in the form of a loop. It's smaller than the virus and has no capsid. Capsid means protein shell of a virus particles surrounding its nucleic acid. A viroid is a coiled naked RNA molecule that can affect a cell. The characteristic features of viroids, these are among the smallest known agents causing infectious disease. Viroids are the species of nucleic acid with relatively low molecular weight and a unique structure. They reproduce within the host cells, which they affect in the cause variations of them causing death. And last, the prions, or the infectious protein. Prions are thought to be proteins that can be passed from one organism to another and causes disease. All the disease of this type causes changes in the brain, that result in a spongy appearance called spongiform encephalopathies. Because their disease can be transmitted from one animal to another. Prions' disease are very rare. Symptoms can progress rapidly, requiring help with daily needs. Prion disease are always fatal. Prions are misfolded proteins with the ability to transmit. Prions disease occur when normal prion protein found on the surface of many cells becomes abnormal and clump in the brain, causing brain damage. This abnormal accumulation of protein can cause memory impairment, personality changes, and difficulties with movement. These prions are a group of neurodegenerative disease. It is a type of protein that can trigger normal proteins in the brain to fold abnormally. As what I've said, disease can affect both humans and animals. So, that's all for the acellular infectious agent. And now, the video that I will present to you is about the domain bacteria. Domain bacteria. These are prokaryotes, a single-celled organism that don't have a distinct nucleus or specialized organelles. Domain bacteria are always encountered on an everyday basis. Most bacterial species are heterotrophic, that they are acquired their food from organic matter. The largest number of bacteria are saprobic, meaning that they feed on dead or decaying organic matter. A few bacterial species are parasitic. These bacteria line within host organism and cause disease. Organism is an organism that harbors another organism inside or near their body in a symbiotic relationship. For example, a parasite in an organism that depends on another for food, shelter, and basic needs to the detriment of its host. This is why it's called a parasitic relationship. Heterotrophic, from the word heterotroph, which means an organism that cannot produce its own food, instead taking nutrition from other sources. Certain bacteria are autotrophic, meaning they synthesize their own food. Bacteria may live at a variety of temperatures. Bacteria living at very cold temperatures are psychrophilic. Those living at human body temperatures are mesophilic. And those living at very high temperatures are thermophilic. Bacteria that require oxygen for their metabolism are referred to as aerobic, while species that thrive in an oxygenated-free or oxygen-free environment are said to be anaerobic. Some bacteria can live with or without oxygen. They are described as facultative. There are activities of a bacteria. Bacteria play many beneficial roles in the environment. For example, some species of bacteria live on the roots of pods-bearing plants. Others are responsible for decaying or decomposing organic materials. In the food industry, Bacteria are used to prepare products such as cheeses, fermented dairy products. Others are used to produce antibiotics, chemicals, dyes, numerous vitamins, and enzymes, and a number of insecticides. Today, they are used in genetic engineering to synthesize certain pharmaceutical products that cannot be produced otherwise. So, the next video that I will present to you is about the Archaea domain. So, what is Archaea domain? Archaea domain. Archaea's domain is the oldest, followed by bacteria, and finally eukarya. In both archaea and bacteria, the chromosomes are the blueprints for life are circular. Whereas in eukarya, we have a double helix DNA structure. It looks like a twisted ladder. Archaea are prokaryotes, which means that cells don't have a nucleus on other membrane-bound organelles in their cells. Archaea are not very well characterized. Most archaea do not make their own food. Many absorb their food sources in similar ways to bacteria. Archaea can reproduce through binary fissions, where a parent cell divides into two genetically identical daughter cells. It can be also asexually reproduced through budding and fragmentation, where pieces of the cell break off and form a new cell, also producing genetically identical organisms. Based on their habitat, all archaeans can be divided into the following groups. First is the methanogens. Methanogens are methane-producing organisms. Second is the halophiles. Halophiles are archaeans that live at extremely hot temperatures, and psychrophiles are cold temperatures archaeans. Archaeans use different energy sources like hydrogen gas, carbon dioxide, and sulfur. Some of them use sunlight to make energy, but not the same way plants do. They absorb sunlight using their membrane pigments. So, that's the end of my video, and thank you for watching. Bye!